I am great at emails. I'm great at text. I'm great at saying something once. I'm great in expecting it to be done. I used to project manage. Go to this job site. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. I'll see y'all later. Go to this job site. Okay, the swim club needs to be this way. What's the problem? Let me fix your problem. Okay, and then go here. Vision's not that easy. Not everybody carries around blueprints and has a professional, hey, let me take charge of this. I like to think of vision almost like a pool. You're constantly filling it up because it just evaporates. On a hot, sunny day, vision is evaporating. And it is your job, the bigger department you have, the more you have to constantly feed into that vision to get people there. The bigger pool you have, the more evaporates. I only have 60 people on my team, and I feel like half of it is just resetting the culture and the vision of why, right? But that's a very challenging why when you're telling somebody to stand in a hot kitchen and do chicken all day. Why? Why in the world would I do that? So I think really just trying to understand that vision is the key piece in purpose, right? So Andy Stanley once wrote a book about visioneering. I haven't gotten all the way through it because every time I read a chapter, I try to integrate it into my life, and then it takes forever. But half of it is fantastic. So the next one is defining your vision. And I know there's a lot of people that are going to talk about vision today, so I'm going to skip through some of this. But it is so important to, the serve model. What is your purpose of your team? What are the values you want to drive the behavior of your team? How can you communicate your vision of the future to your team? And then also, what is your purpose as the leader? If somebody comes in the door and derails you with 10 questions, right? Happens in the restaurant, the fryer's down, this is down. I know it happens everywhere. Every business you come to, somebody derails you the minute you walk in the office and you had an awesome plan laid out for the day. So, what is your purpose for your leadership and your team? What is your vision? Are you there to fix problems or fix people? Or are you there to grow leaders and grow people that can answer their own questions? So it might take 10 times as long to talk somebody through how to solve their problem themselves, but then you walk away, obviously, with people that can do it the next day. Best case scenario. So fighting fires or growing decision makers. Know your boundaries and foster growth. I have to know my boundaries. I get so wrapped up in, let me serve you. Let me get this done for you. But that's not what servant leadership is. Servant leadership isn't doing everything for everybody. That's not the truth of the matter. It is serving people so that they can become the decision makers, right? And that's my vision, not urgent fixes. It's the important process. I don't want to fix on those urgent fixes. The quadrant, urgent and important, right? I don't want to constantly focus on the urgent and somewhat important. I'd rather focus on the important so that the urgent things are already dealt with by the time I do it tomorrow, right? So the next one, SERVE, is engage and develop others. So see and shape the future, engage and develop others. So making sure your head, with the visioneering and all that, your head is up. Like you're at the 30,000-foot view. This is where we're going. This is what we're doing. But you also have to have your head's down time. How can I engage this person? How can I be there with them? How can I develop this process for them and with them so that it's not just vision, but it's also implementation, right, or activation. Leaders engage individuals in the vision for the future. So you're really trying to find their strength. Two things that we look at in engagement at Chick-fil-A is the interviewing process, which is finding the right talent, which was the first one, making sure the character is there and you build the skills. But I know it sounds like crazy that we do 3 to 4 interviews sometimes for people that say, welcome to Chick-fil-A, and type in something. But I seriously do 3 to 4 interviews. And I don't always get it right. I still don't get it right. But I have a screening interview, I have the manager that's going to be in charge of the shift interview, and then I do an interview. They need to have buy-in. They need to say, I accepted this person, I have some skin in the game, I'm a part of this. And then I have, I just want to know who they are. I want to know who they are, what they want to do, where they want to go, what their passions are, because I want Chick-fil-A to be just like this, a platform to take off somewhere else, right? Chick-fil-A has some great career opportunities, whether it's corporate or even restaurants. You can make a great living, but at the same time, I have to understand the basics of there are a lot of people that just ebb and flow, right? So if my focus is not just selling chicken, but my focus is to create leaders out of the restaurant that have a great resume, then that's so much more fun for me. There's a lot of mistakes involved with that because you give a lot of freedom there and empower, but at the same time, there's a lot of growth. So just knowing that engage is a lot of it is recruitment, and then engage is putting the right people in the right spot, right? Everybody's read Good to Great, put the right people on the right seat of the right bus. But it's also that other book, StrengthsFinder. I have all my leaders take StrengthsFinder so that I know how to better communicate. I know what is their strength, and I can put them in the highest and best place for them. One of my real estate gurus that taught me so much was just so fantastic. We'd go out to a piece of property, and it'd be 1,000 acres, and he'd say, "So Chase, what does this want to be? What do you think this wants to be?" I just don't feel that right there. I don't feel the swim club right here. And I thought he was crazy. But after working with him for years, just knowing he could walk on a piece of property and say, "It just doesn't feel right. Nah, we need to do the bocce course under the power lines because it's already a right-of-way and all that sort of stuff." But he just had a way of feeling things and making sure his phrase was the highest and best use for that land. What is the highest and best use for each person on your team? Are you using them in their highest and best use? Are they engaged? Are they activated? And then are you developing them? Right? I don't want to fix people. I'd prefer to fit them in the right spot. And it's very easy for somebody to walk in the office and you're like, "Yeah, you're doing it wrong. Let me fix you." Right? And I would never want that done to me. So just trying to figure out the highest and best use for each person so their talents are engaged. Leaders create environments that allow individuals to utilize their head, their heart, and their emotions. And once they're activated, they're not just hands. You get a free brain. Man, it's awesome when I take somebody that's, "Welcome to Chick-fil-A. How are you doing?" And then I give them, "What? You want to study accounting? All right. I'm going to do an internship with you. You're going to end up doing all my bookkeeping, and let me show you what this looks like." Right? You want to run a business? Okay, let me show you what this looks like. I don't hide a whole lot. I'm actually pretty open when it comes to a lot of stuff, but that's because I want them to be engaged. If they know how much I spend in produce, then they're going to be watching the bottom line somewhere else because they're shocked. "How, you spent a few $100s just in produce today?" Yeah, I did. And so just making sure that everything's activated and it's not just hired hands. Am I a serving leader? Or am I controlling, or I'm empowering people, right? So this kind of comes in characteristics of engaging environment. I know Ace is going to talk about that. So do they feel valued? Each team member is contributing. Did I train them well? That's on me. One thing I do like to do, and you'll probably start seeing it in the restaurant. I got an idea from somebody else because I always steal awesome ideas because I'm not very creative. So on the name tags, there's an operator that is finding out what people want to do and where they want to be, and down below putting future firefighter, future accountant, future whatever, right? So I have a guy at the store right now that's applying to be a firefighter. It happened because, and another girl that's going into the police, she's doing this this Monday, coming up Monday, she's trying out, or physical whatever it is, and the cool thing is they just find out just by, "Oh, really? That's what you're interested in? I know somebody that knows somebody," right? That's exciting for me. I hate that they're leaving, but at the same time, It's why I do it, and I need to remind myself of that. So, so far we've talked about two things: see and shape the future, engage and develop others. The next one is reinvent continuously. Okay, whether it's ourselves, our systems, our department, we need to reinvent continuously. Know that what got you here will not get you there. And just knowing that sometimes there's people that are constantly not happy with the status quo, that are kind of irritating because they're always asking, well, what if we do it this way? Sometimes just do the system is good. But there's a reason, maybe they see something you don't, and being able to really have an open mindset and an open concept of what could be possible, and maybe they see something you don't. So it's all about passion. So reinvent continuously, we'll go with that. One thing I like to say with that is hope is not a strategy. Sometimes we set the vision out there and we set the hope out there, and we almost just expect people to get whatever done because we set it out there. But that's when we need to take our heads up approach and take it down to the heads down approach and help with the activation. Help with, okay, so this is what that means. Let's sit down. Let's figure out how to do it. Not just, yeah, I hope it's going to be done. I told them, this is what it looks like, and I'll see them tomorrow, right? Main thing is looking at personal growth, looking at systems and processes, and looking at structural reinvestment. Don't redo your department just because you think it might help, but there's obviously growth that changes your department. Chick-fil-A, we're only a $3-5 million company here locally, but if I was a $6 million company, because I was one of the stores in Lexington, I would have a totally different leadership structure. I couldn't hold on to what I have now. I couldn't hold on to the way it's always been done, because it's illogical. It's totally different. It's twice the size. I don't just add twice the people. I have to actually add a different strategy, right? So sometimes great companies continually evolve, modifying their approach with creative improvements and intelligent adaptation. So why do some people fall and some people not, right? Jim Collins and Good to Great and everything. It's all about, do they reinvent? Do they see the need? What's the difference between Netflix and Blockbuster? They both started out with DVDs. I thought it was insane when my friend in Charlotte said, hey, oh yeah, come over, let's watch a movie. I have it in the mail. Do y'all remember that? You got them in a little pouch and you resent it? That was crazy. So now I'm the one that missed out on that one. But so see and shape the future, right? Engage and develop, reinvent continuously, and then obviously the next one is value results in relationships. This is, how am I on time? My timer stopped. I only have two more. Is that good? Are we good? Is value results in relationships. So this is the hardest one for me. I am used to pulling up to a job site, seeing a building, seeing the pavement, and that was my immediate satisfaction. That was my gratification. I knew I did something at the end of the day. I knew I did something yesterday. Now it's all about relationships. It's almost like a dichotomy. Sometimes you think you can't have like relationships with people and be people's friends, but at the same time have intense accountability and expect results. That balance and that scale is very challenging, but you can have both if your results are the right results. Like if you were focused on developing people, the results will come. Somebody told me that profit was just an applause for a job well done. And if your job well done is developing and engaging people and having those relationships, then the results will be there. Does that make sense? You can have both, and it is challenging, but I feel like in my experience, you can. I I think it just depends on if you're trying to control the outcome and build the results you want, or if you're trying to empower leaders and coach to success. Showing appreciation, catching people doing the right thing. Obviously, the old thing about 1 minute manager, just catching people doing the right thing and really empowering that. But also realizing, at the end of the day, have I made a significant investment in somebody? And if I've made a significant investment in somebody, then that's their why, right? From North Carolina, I am so on Kentucky. I am on board now, but I still have a little heart. So when they're not playing together, you can just kind of know that people don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care, right? I love my team. I sit down with them. I don't know every single in and out of everybody and what they're doing, but I came in the other day and Madison was planning another get-together at their house, and I didn't even know they did it. They get together once a month to just have a Chick-fil-A get-together, and they play board games. That's awesome for me. Alicia was moving from the east side to the west side, and I found out that people showed up with a truck on a Sunday just to help them move because they're all family. That doesn't mean that it doesn't get tiring to make 2,000 fries a day, but it does mean that I feel like my judgment meter of what I'm investing in and what I'm doing is correct, because that's success to me. When they can do that, be tired of each other, but still want to spend time together. So profits are applause for a job well done, and the job is spending that time with people. Coaching sessions, I have coaching sessions with my team. We've moved away a little bit, but we're getting back to it. Like I said, we're having a lot of intrinsic evaluation, and what have we gotten away from that was good? Where am I, where's my error in a leader? What have I chosen to focus on that's not right? And we're having to recalibrate. But one thing we used to do all the time is I'd sit down with everybody and say, what's your greatest victory for the week? What's your greatest challenge? What's a hot topic? What do we need to talk about? And then I would get action plans for each one and follow up with them. And I ended up having to do it every 2 weeks because every week was crazy because it was mainly the leaders, but it's still a lot. But what's your personal action plan? What's your team? What do you want to do with your team? What's your restaurant action plan? And how do you want to build the team? But just that constant accountability, that constant coaching, that constant, hey, where are you with that? I saw such success with it. I still have people from Texas and from Hickory, North Carolina, call me every now and then just to see how I'm doing, because I've worked in 12 different restaurants in 10 different states. Every child has been born in a different city. We moved a lot before we got here, but those relationships are still there. Like, I still call Rosie every now and then or text her and say, have you done your laundry tonight? Because she used to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and had a hard time getting to work on time. And I said, why? Like, why? Your schedule never changes. It's 5 o'clock. Like, it's not foreign. And she was like, well, I just have to do my laundry. You get off at 2. Yeah, like tons of time. She was like, well, I'll always wait till later. So I started texting her at 6 o'clock every night. Have you done your laundry yet? Just because I want her to show up being refreshed, restored, and also know that she's cared about, right? Amy, she used to send me a picture every single week, and I'd call her on Sunday saying, how's the garage coming? Her husband took over the garage. It was full of stuff. She couldn't even park her car, so her goal was within a couple months to have everything moved out so she could park her car in it. So she would send me pictures or I would call her, but it was that personal investment too. So it's not just, hey, what's your greatest victory? What's your greatest challenge? What's your team goal? What's your division goal? It's also, hey, what's your personal goal? You want to lose weight? Okay. I bought 10 Fitbits, and we started tracking each other and competing, and you could see how much you ran compared to somebody else, and it was kind of fun. But it's just like those personal initiative things. So we're almost done. Don't worry. So we're all the way down to embody the values, which I think is probably one of the most important things. because a lot of people can set the vision. A lot of people can hire and engage. But I feel like embodying the values will either put a cap on your potential if you don't embody the values, or it will break the ceiling on your potential if you do embody the values. What are your values? Are you living them out? Do people see what you say, but then you're doing something totally different, right? If our values are to honor, to treat everybody with honor, dignity, and respect, to be a positive influence on everybody I come in contact with, then what about the person I just fired, right? So it's one of those things where what is the truth behind it, and are you really embodying the values? Well, yes, because this person needs to realize what accountability is, because if he doesn't understand accountability with just showing up on time and this or that, then he's not going to show up to a court date, and then he's going to get arrested, and da-da-da-da. So it's a hard decision for me, but if I don't do this, he's only 16, but he has to learn somewhere, right? So I might just justify it. That might have been still the wrong thing to do, but my goal is to develop. So that's the fifth and final one, is really embody the values. Also asking yourself, would I follow this person? Do I trust this person? If you were on the other end, do you trust you? Would you follow you? Establish, articulate, model, and enforce your values, and make sure that they're there and open and exposed so people know what you believe, but then also that there's that accountability for you. There's a phrase that says, if it's to be, then it's up to me. And so many times I would tell people not to take that on, because you almost don't want to take on more tasks. But this is different than a task. This is being and not doing, right? So if it is to be, then it's up to me. If this organization is going to look like that, then it's up to me. Does that make sense? So see and shape the future, engage and develop others, reinvent continuously, value relationships and results, embody the values. That's my motto for just service leadership, how we look at things. Obviously, we look at character and skills, but this serve model, that is the skill. That's the characters down below, and then how I daily try to activate the team, myself, however, and develop the skills is by using the filter of the serve model. Am I a serving leader? Leadership isn't about me, but it begins with me. And I have one quote by Martin Luther King. He said, everybody can be great because everybody can serve. So thank y'all. I really appreciate it. Hope I didn't go over too much.